Here now some crucial information, some crucial insights for marketers. We're going to discuss this crucial market segment, the LSM, Lifestyle Standards Measurement 4 to 7. And with me is Craig Berman from Interact RDT. Craig, a very warm welcome to you. First of all, give me a profile of this LSM 4 to 7.
So what we know is the LSM 4 to 7 is the fastest growing consumer segment in the market. It's the one segment that some marketers have difficulty targeting, and it's got a lot of horizontal segmentation. So a lot of people are looking at a whole lot of different products, ranges, brands. And it's something that not a lot of people know a lot about. And it's one of those segments that from a technology point of view, from a food point of view, all of those aspects is incredibly important as marketers diversify their strategies into talking to specific niches within that segment.
It's a real indictment against marketers that they don't have a deep understanding of this fast-growing segment. Why is that?
Well, I think that the primary difficulty is they don't really have any channels to kind of directly talk to them at. You know, we can sit down with the segment and actually have a conversation with them. You know, there's different elements of media that they reach and different channels that they consume. And it's difficult for marketers to sometimes pick those particular niches to talk to those people. And right now they might be treating it more of as a shotgun segment rather than trying to focus and understand where the niches are and then focus communications.
Because it's easier for the marketing community to focus on LSM 10 plus.
No, we know where to reach those guys. That's easy. So part of the solution is to create strategies and ideas and concepts and products that allow marketers and brands to communicate directly with those people and more importantly get their insights and their feedback and what they need and what they're looking for.
I want to talk to you about some of those strategies in just a moment, but your organization in particular has done something in the taxi segment, something called Taxi Insights. What prompted it and what have you gleaned from it?
So we are I would say, a company that specializes in delivering customized insight solutions. So when we looked at the LSM 4 to 7 market, we looked at how we could bring across a product and a service and a platform that would allow brands and products to communicate with them in their own kind of environment, in a safer, more relaxed type of environment. So Taxi Insights was born out of an association with SA Taxi and also with En route, who's the media partner. We're the research division side of that. And it allows us to get researchers in the vehicles themselves, sitting with the commuters with a paper-based survey or an iPad survey, and asking them the kind of questions that can give us answers. We can do it in English, we can do it FNAC, but we get their insights there and then.
And this is gold nugget stuff in terms of research. What have they been telling you?
Well, some interesting things. We ran a survey, our initial pilot survey was 800 responses last year around July, and out of that, some interesting aspirational data came out of that. One of those was one of the most respected companies was BMW. So, and on that list was Eskom as well, which I don't think is probably there anymore. But the insight was that a lot of the clothing brands came up. So you had the techno brands coming up. So you had brands like Samsung and Nike and all of these brands coming up as top of mind brands.
In fact, one of the questions is name the first brand that comes to mind. Yeah. Nike, Adidas and Samsung.
Yeah, Nike, Adidas, Samsung. So for those type of markets where they're looking at, well, you know, maybe their market segment is a bit higher, but here you have this aspirational desire to have that kind of clothing, to own those kind of brands. And it's that behavior that brands need to look at and say, well, even though we're communicating maybe at a slightly higher LSM level, it's filtering down to the lower LSMs. Now, what are we doing to bring these people onto our
Is it a markedly different strategy then that needs to be adopted?
Absolutely. It's something that they need to understand where the mindset is of those consumers, what they really want, what they're really into, what sort of, where they are in the horizontal segmentation side of it. Are they leaning towards this area, that area? What do they associate with? So big soccer, big sport, you know, those kind of things are all important. And when you look at elements like that, they have brands, for example, like Oreo, popped up out of nowhere. And yet it's not that's not their targeted market, and yet it filters down into the lower segment. So for companies and brands who are looking to understand the mass market consumer into smaller segments, this is a perfect place.
Is there a different tonality, do you think, in the messaging?
Absolutely. I think they, you know, with the growth, the emerging growth of especially data consumption in this market, that we kind of in I wouldn't say baby steps, but in a way where we need to craft those messages a bit more carefully and a bit more tailored to this market. So the tone has got to suit the lifestyle, it's got to suit that. They've got to understand a bit more about the dynamics of how these people operate, what it takes to get into a taxi every morning and get to work and what's going on in the vehicles. So not only are we looking at the kind of things that these guys are seeing on the way, but also the lifestyle of it. And that plays an important role. Where they shop, how they shop, what do they buy? You know, you can't take big parcels on a taxi, so it's got to be little bits and pieces. You know, is technology a big thing? You know, do they understand the differences between, let's say, the different brands in technology and all those various aspects? So there's definitely an element, different tonality.
What brands do you think are getting this right?
I think from the taxi side, from the commuter side, I think some of the FMCG companies have got it right. I think some of the technology sector, the companies that are looking at entry-level devices that offer simplistic and affordable options. We know that this commuter market does allocate a fair portion of their spend to technology, cell phones, airtime, that type of thing. So for companies that want to get into that, I think, I think a lot of the technology guys are looking at it. I think one or two have got it right, and I think the rest are kind of getting on board.
And just finally, brands that behave well are brands that do well. You also asked a question about the most respected companies. Yeah. Sasol, SAB, and I put in inverted commas Eskom because I'm not sure if the research was done pre or post the load shedding. Yeah. But having said that, the
and
point
BMW
is still relevant.
Is one of those as well. So you look at those type of things, and you see that those kind of brands that have that response from this market are clearly maintaining their integrity when it comes to their marketing and their communication. So even though at the high LSM levels where you see that, it still filters down. And what I like about it, and what's really interesting for us, is that the aspirational side of those people saying, I want something better. I aspire to those higher brands. I aspire to the higher quality of life.
I'm glad to see that we've kept the lights on during this very insightful conversation. Craig Berman from Interact RDT. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeremy.